Maryland home prices have climbed for years, but there are actually 8 zip codes where prices actually have fallen.
And in some cases, prices have plunged nearly 14%.
Stick around because we're going to go through what is actually happening, what it means for buyers, what it means for sellers, especially those move-up sellers, right? Because you're a seller and a buyer, and all the moves that you should make as a homeowner right now if you're planning to either buy or sell in the near future.
Oh, and if you like our content and you're curious about what's going on in and around the Baltimore, Maryland real estate market, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. We'll be always keeping you up to date with current market trends. Let's jump into it.
I'm Mike Mislinski, she's Kelly Schuett, and we're here today to talk everything about the prices dropping in and around the Baltimore area.
Do us a favor, if you're curious about a specific neighborhood, we want to know what you guys want to learn more about. Drop in the comment a neighborhood you would like to learn more about, and we'll make sure we do our next video on that.
So home prices are dropping, but what does that actually mean? Well, actually 53% of active listings have seen a price drop, which is 26 points higher than last year. That's a pretty big number. Days
on market ticked up to 11, which is crazy because it was down to 2 for a long time. But when we're thinking about this globally in the history of real estate, 11 days on the market is so low, you guys. So even though that's up, it's still a very short amount of time to have your house listed on the market, which tells us there is still a lot of buyer demand out there.
And then there's the interest rates. We all know about the interest rates. We all hate the interest rates. They are hovering around 6.8 or so right now, but there's alternatives to make that actually go down a little bit.
And we're seeing that show up in the prices of some of these homes. Some of these reductions are not in the actual list price or sale price of the house. They're in seller concessions. And buyers are using those seller concessions to buy down their rate a little bit, making that monthly payment a little more palatable with these high interest rates. So not all numbers are created equal. When we talk about these price decreases, we're talking about the whole picture of what the seller actually netted, which is what we're going to coach you on when you're looking to actually sell your house. What is the actual walk home number that you're taking? And that will include any concessions you're willing to give.
So you may be asking, okay, well, why are the prices softening? It can't just be the rates. Well, it has to do with some of the inventory. We did see a little bit of a bump in the inventory, somewhere between 5 and 10%, depending on where you're looking in the state. And with that, you're going to see more inventory, less buyers potentially in your area. Your prices could come down.
Two of the areas that we're highlighting are Gaithersburg, which is in Montgomery County, and all of Baltimore County. These are interesting in particular because they saw the biggest deficit of inventory over the past 2 years. So when we see a return of 10 and 11% in both of those areas, you have to keep in mind that it's been down 30% year over year for the past 2 years. So that 10 or 11% uptick is still a lot lower than it was in 2018 to 2022.
And then there's the elephant in the room, which is affordability. We know everything has gotten so expensive in every facet of our lives. Well, it takes a lot more now for just a median income household to afford the same house as you would have 3 to 4 or 5 years ago.
This is due to prices being up over the past 10-year period and also rates still being high right now. So if you're a buyer and you can get yourself in a situation where you can buy that rate down, that's a really great strategy. And if you're a seller, just understand that the buyers do have some constraints, and comparing your house sale price with something where somebody was buying at a 2 or a 3% rate 4 years ago, it's not exactly a comp anymore.
Here's a little tip. If you have a lot of outstanding payments that you know you could probably just take care of those payments, because it's actually going to lower your debt to income ratio and just make that number, that monthly payment number, a lot more palatable when it comes to actually buying a home.
Something else to consider is if you are thinking about buying a home, you can structure your mortgage to actually pay off some things like student loans, credit cards, car payments as part of the restructuring of this purchase so that your overall monthly payment does go down. These are all things that we can dive into on a case-by-case basis. But just know if you have a little bit of debt that you'd like to consolidate, if you're buying and selling or making that upgrade, this is a really good time to wrap that all in.
So what's the thing that's holding you back? Is it the rates? Is it the monthly payment? Is it some other outstanding debts? Is it just the lack of inventory that you actually want to see and want to potentially purchase? What is it? Let us know in the comments, we'll be sure to give you a handheld document stating what makes sense for you in your area.
Thinking about relocating to Baltimore? Well, I've got just the thing for you. My team and I have actually taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research, and I've linked it all down below.
From top employers to best hospitals and a boatload of other things, all the stuff you'll need to know before making the move to in and around Baltimore. The best part, this guide is entirely free. Just click the link in the description at the top pinned comment. Hope this helps.
So now we're going to dive into the top 8 areas that we've seen decreases and our thoughts as to why. So the first one is in Sparks, which is the Hereford zone, Mike's favorite place. But Sparks is on the lower side of the Hereford zone. It's typically known for a severe lack of inventory. There's one townhome community, and other than that, it's mainly for horse country. Where we are seeing the price decreases is in those more prominent horse properties, not in the townhome community. And we're seeing they're offering some seller concessions to buy down that rate for those purchasers. And a lot of those are actually traded in cash, which some buyers are expecting a discount if they're paying cash. That one makes a little bit of sense to me.
And that's one of probably the biggest fallacies in the real estate market in 2025 is that if you have cash that you can pay less. That's not the case. You can pay the same or potentially more depending on how competitive it is. But it just makes your contingencies less, which is obviously more attractive. But thinking that it's going to give you a home at a lower price, it's just not going to happen.
The next one is Chesapeake City in Cecil County, which is a very rural area. So again, this is a very specific, nuanced market, and a lot of you are not necessarily looking there. It's a small part of our market as well, but if you are looking there, prices are coming down. They're down about 37%. That's because a lot of people are needing to sell who moved out there because they had that commutability, and they were able to work from home, and now that they're back in the office, that doesn't work for them anymore. So there's been a little inventory boom because it is a little bit further out, and those are people who maybe had government jobs in DC. Now that they're back, they are selling and moving, so that one also makes sense.
Up next is probably the two most surprising of all of these counties, or cities rather, which is Rockville, North Potomac, and Gaithersburg. Normally, this is where everybody that works in DC but wants to live in Maryland lives, right? So you very rarely see price decreases in these areas, but they've actually gone down. Some we're seeing, 5 to 6%.
The reason why we're seeing some of that is just the affordability. Montgomery County is one of the most expensive counties in the nation to live in. That's a constant. So now the price being so expensive there, along with the interest rates being so high, something had to give, and it is a small decrease in home value. I think we saw like a 6%. So it's not huge, but it's enough that sellers and buyers are feeling that.
And then very similar to the areas in Montgomery County is the entirety of Anne Arundel County. This is where our state's capital is in Annapolis. So to see price decreases in Anne Arundel County with all the water that surrounds Anne Arundel County is actually quite a shock.
And the last one that also is surprising to us is Howard County. Howard County has always had a very stable market. We're seeing those days on market tick up to 14 days, which is very high for that county. Our hypothesis there is that people are pricing their homes what the comps looked like a year ago and thinking they're going to get the same value, and they're simply not, because somebody who bought it a year ago was closer to a 6% interest rate. We're closer to a 7%. So that same affordability is vastly different, and the same person can afford probably $50,000 to $75,000 less. So if they wanted your house last year, they can't buy it this year at the same price. So it just limits the buyer pool, and that makes houses come down in price and stay on the market a little bit longer. The good news is having your house on the market for 2 weeks is still pretty dang good, and the median prices there are still at an all-time historic high. So this is not bad news. It's just a gut check to say we need to price it based on today's market and today's rates, not what was going on a year ago in your same neighborhood.
And then there's northern Harford County. So this is, again, a little bit more of a rural area, a lot of ranchers, a lot of older homes. The prices have come down just a bit, not too much, but it makes a noticeable difference, especially when the price points are just more of like what you call entry level.
So those are the top 8 areas that we're seeing in Maryland where there are those significant or at least mentionable price differences. Have you guys noticed that in your own neighborhoods? Are you seeing that? And when you look up what you think your home is worth, is it where it was a year ago, or has that changed for you personally? We're always excited to hear what you think about your personal home value. And if you ever want our professional take on it, let us know. Drop us a message with your address. We're happy to give you a deep dive, free consultation on what your home value is in this current market, even if you're just curious. Hey guys, it's Kelly. I'm here with Mike as well. And as much as I love making these videos, there's one thing I love even more, and that's helping families and people from all across the country make a move here to Baltimore. I moved here about 20 years ago and I've never looked back. I love helping countless families make the move as well. So whether you're coming out next week, next month, or even next year, don't hesitate to reach out. My contact information is right here on the screen, and I've linked the description in case you missed the on-screen pop-up. Look forward to helping you and your family make the move to Baltimore.
Okay, so we have these price cuts, but what does that actually mean specifically if you're a buyer?
So buyers are still having to compete. There's still multiple offers on these properties, but they're competing at a lower level. Instead of going, $75,000 to $100,000 over list price, they're maybe going 5, 10, 15, 20. Instead of having no inspections, maybe they're having inspections with some limitations on them. It's not that buyers are just getting a deal on these houses, but they're just not also overpaying ask price.
It comes down to more of a traditional negotiation as opposed to, just throwing stuff into the wind and hoping for the best and amongst 20 other offers. It's just a little bit more of a nuanced actual conversation and negotiation.
Appraisers are getting more strict. They see that there are multiple offers, but they also see that those offers are not sky high. So they're making sure that they are going to lend on a price for that house that actually makes sense. And most of the deals that we're seeing are coming through with an appraisal contingency, which was also largely waived over the past couple of years. So if you're a buyer entering the market now, know that you can rely on that appraisal to make sure you're not overpaying. And if you're a seller, just make sure that you're pricing it in a range that it will be able to appraise for, so you don't have to negotiate that down once you're under contract. Here's a couple of power moves for move up sellers. If you are looking to sell your home and move up, these are for you.
So working with an agent to price your home correctly. So coming in a little bit under what it's probably worth is going to help you in the long run and receive multiple offers. And obviously, when you have more offers, you get more leverage as a seller. So something that you want to consider is talking with your agent and getting an understanding of the range of where you should be priced.
Every home has a range. If you can list it on the lower end, typically 2% lower than the low range of your home value, you're expected to get 4+ offers, which means you can waive things like inspections, you can drive up competitive pricing, and you can get the exact terms that you're looking for. How about leveraging a rent back? So you're selling your house and you're going to move somewhere else. Where are you going to live in the middle? How are you going to line up that timeline? One thing that you can ask buyers for that's a really low cost ask for a buyer is for them to give you a free rent back, meaning you can close on your house so you have the funds to buy your next house, but you're able to still live there for up to 2 months while you get your ducks in a row and move into your new place.
Up next is a bridge loan, or what some people call a HELOC. But in this case, we're really going to focus on the bridge loan. And all this does is takes the equity from your current house and uses it as the payment for your next house. So you don't necessarily have to sell and buy at the same exact time. It makes it just a lot more flexible and a lot easier.
The cost of that is very low, and it allows you to have the maximum amount of flexibility, and you'd be surprised how easily qualified most of our move-up sellers are. Something you know that we offer is our Kelly Concierge program, which allows you to do minor updates to your house before listing. This is huge. So if you have paint, if you have caulking, if you need to replace vanities or paint cabinets, flooring, landscaping, deep clean, staging, all of the things that make that house look wow on Zillow and Redfin and all of the places that our buyers are looking, we will manage that on your behalf, get you those quotes, pay for it on your behalf, and you pay that back at closing. There's no upfront costs, there's no fees, it's all fully transparent. Our motivation is helping you prep your home for sale the correct way, and therefore it's selling quickly and you having a great experience. Your motivation is you're already probably outlaying a lot of cash to make this move. You might not have a couple $100 or $1,000 lying around to make those updates. We have that, and we know that you have it in the equity to pay us back at closing. It's really a win-win, and our home sellers love this program.
This is probably something that you maybe not have heard thus far, and that is actually offering incentives up front. So when we work with some of our preferred partners and lenders, we're able to give either certain credits to the buyer for the purchase of the home or certain buy-down programs for the purchase of your home. It's all about making it easy for everybody. So if we can make it easy for the buyer, they're more likely to come and make an offer on your home, which is obviously the goal.
Our job is to maximize your profit and minimize your stress. So whatever we can do to help you bridge where you currently live to where your goal of living is next, we're able to do it, and we have a system for it. It's proven, we have a track record, and we have a lot of history of helping homeowners in your situation make that dual move. It's actually what we specialize in here, because most people, as you know, are moving in and around Baltimore. Once you're here, you don't leave because you love it so much, just like us.
Now for the question of the day. For those of you looking to move within the state of Maryland, you're already here, you want to move to a different part. What part do you want to move to? Do you want to move from the city, out of the city, from Baltimore County to Anne Arundel County, Annapolis to Frederick? Let me know in the comments. I'm extremely interested. Get an understanding of where people are moving within the state. Even better, give me a call, shoot me a text. All my information is right on the screen here. Looking forward to hearing from you.
So what's next for us? Are rates really going down? Is the market going to crash? These are questions you all ask us at every cocktail party we attend. The answer is no, the market is not crashing. The economists are saying that you guys have way too much equity in all of your houses for it to crash, which is a great problem to have. And they're also saying that these rates cannot stay this high forever. Are we ever going to see them back in the 3s and 4s in the near future? No, they're saying low 6s though, which is very helpful. That percent makes a big difference.
Especially when you go down and maybe pursue one of the buy down programs. You could get in the 5s.
They're saying that we're going to see about a 2.5% appreciation year over year, which is lower than we've seen in the past couple of years, but it's still super solid and stable. So this is a great time to jump in the market or to upgrade or reposition yourself in the market.
The bottom line is the prices are not crashing. There isn't a huge influx of inventory. It's all very niched, zip code to zip code. So if you want a deep dive into your zip code and your neighborhood, type in neighborhood into the comments and we'll be sure to reach out to give you a deep dive into your area.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Mike. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we will see you on the next video.